Good morning, students. So, as a part of our online classes, today we will start with the Indian politics in India since independence. Although we have not started the chapter yet, any of the chapter yet. Today we will start with the very first chapter of this book, that is Challenges of Nation Building. It's a very important chapter, as in this particular chapter we will come to know about the various challenges that India had faced at the time of independence and how India could able to evolve from that particular challenges, and what are the different problems that India had faced at that point of time, and at the time of partition as well as in the post-partition period, what India exactly had faced at that point of time. These are the main important topic of this chapter. So today, first before starting the chapter, let me just tell you the two important things, that this chapter is mainly based on the nation building. Basically, what is basically nation building means? So in a very simple sense, it means to unite the people of a particular country and to prosper the development of that particular people, basically called as the nation building. In a very simple sense, what I mean to say is that nation building का मतलब क्या है कि एक पर्टिकुलर जाति को, एक पर्टिकुलर एक देश में रहने वाले लोगों को इकट्ठा करना, एक साथ करना, यूनिटी लाना उनमें, और उनकी जो डेवलपमेंट है उसको आगे ले जाना ही बेसिकली नेशन बिल्डिंग है. सो इन अ वेरी सिंपल सेंस, नेशन बिल्डिंग मीन्स दैट कि a constructive and systematic approach to unite the people of a particular nation and to prosper the development of that particular nation, basically called as the nation building. So at the time of independence, what are the challenges that India had faced in order to bring that particular nation building among the people is the main theme of this chapter. I hope that you understand this, that what exactly this particular chapter basically aims to. So let us in a very brief try to understand that what are the challenges that India faced at the time of independence. So there are basically three challenges that India faced at the time of independence. Firstly, to shape the nation, S-H-A-P-E, shape the nation. Secondly, to establish democracy, and thirdly, to bring welfare among the people. So these are the three important challenges of nation building that India had faced at the time of independence. ये क्वेश्चन काफ़ी बार एग्जाम में आ चुका है. व्हाट आर द वेरियस चैलेंजेस ऑफ नेशन बिल्डिंग? 6 मार्क का बहुत बार क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. So let us try to understand that what are these 3 points basically implies. So first, coming to the first point, to shape the nation. In a very simple sense, to shape the nation implies that at the time of partition, the long harmony that existed in India, it was suddenly disappeared, and the entire social fabric that completely disintegrated at that point of time due to the partition, and the people, they lost faith on one another, especially the people from one community basically lost their faith on other community. In such circumstances, it was a greater challenge on part of Indian national leaders in order to bring unity and brotherhood among the people. So basically, due to the partition of British India, the religious harmony which lost at that point of time, it posed a severe challenges. Before the country, as this particular breakdown of the social fabric, it's basically hampered a visionary India which Mahatma Gandhi as well as the other Indian national leaders they saw at that point of time. Moreover, as India is a land of diverse countries, so basically the different religious groups, different linguistic groups, different caste, different ethnicity exist. And at that point of time, at the time of partition, it was a major challenge before India to unite all those different ethnicity, different linguistic group, different castes, different communities in a one particular platform. And this is why it is said that to shape the nation means कि किस तरह से भारत को एज ए होल एक भारत की रूप से शेप देना, दैट इज बेसिकली द फर्स्ट पॉइंट इज. तो यहाँ पर दो इंपॉर्टेंट आप सब पॉइंट जोड़ सकते हैं. नंबर वन इज दैट द लॉन्ग रिलीजियस हार्मोनी विच एग्जिस्टेड, it suddenly disappeared at that point of time, and I mean at the time of partition, as the people of different religious community they lost faith on one another because of the partition, and that subsequently led towards a huge crisis at that point of time. And as a result of this, what happened, the social fabric has completely disintegrated, and the result was that a complete chaos at that point of time among the different religious community. And secondly, as I say, that India is a land of diverse culture, it's a land of diverse language, it's a land of diverse ethnicity, it's a land of diverse community, caste. So out of all those different diversity, it was very significant for the Indian leaders to bring unity among that section and to unite all those particular diversity in one particular platform. So basically this was the first major challenges that India faced at the time of independence, is that to shape the nation. Number two, to establish democracy. Yes, at the time of partition, it was a major challenges before the Indian national leaders to establish democracy. Why? Because to establish democracy, it was not at all easy task for a country like India. Because when the Britishers left at that point of time, it was assumed that the future of India was not at all bright, because when the British left, there was, as I said, that due to the different diversity, different kinds of approaches at that point of time, which actually it posed a severe challenges before our national leaders, that on what particular basis India should be, particularly Indian socio-economic as well as political structure to be established. So the social, economic and political structure to be established, and out of that the political structure, this is how to establish or to frame a political structure in our country. So in that particular process of this to establish democracy, the first challenges that faced was to draft a constitution. How to draft a constitution, whom to be given the responsibility, who will take care of including all the different diversity in that one particular constitution. So that was a major challenges at that point of time, because democracy needs to be established only with a written document of constitution. तो संविधान लिखना एक बहुत बड़ा एक प्रॉब्लम था. Secondly, to conduct the election. How to conduct the election, whom to be given the responsibility, and who will be the people they will be engaged in the process of election. So that was another major challenges to conduct the election. So in that process, to find out the voter, to find out the institution who will conduct the election, to find out the suitable person who can contest the election, ये काफ़ी सारे प्रॉब्लम. दूसरा इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट था इस पर्टिकुलर टू एस्टेब्लिश डेमोक्रेसी. Thirdly, apart from all these two, another severe challenges that particular, to establish democracy had faced is that what form of government to be established, whether it is a presidential form of government, whether it is a British parliamentary form of government, whether it is a American presidential form of government, and most importantly, whether to accept the capitalism or to accept the socialism. So all those problems that at that point of time, it was completely a huge, mountain to climb, because at that point of time the national leaders were very confused, because even the national leaders also had no consensus at that point of time, because different leaders had the different approach at that point of time. So all those particular, these particular problems, actually it hampered at that point of time to come into one conclusion that how to set up democracy, what kind of institution we should set up, what form of government we should set up, whom will be given the responsibility to conduct the election, whom will be given the responsibility to elect their representatives, whom will be given the responsibility to be a representative. मतलब इलेक्शन कौन खेल सकता है, कौन इलेक्शन में वोट दे सकता है, किसको ये जिम्मेदारी दिया जाए इलेक्शन कंडक्ट कराने के लिए, किस तरह से सरकार बनाया जाए, क्या प्रेसिडेंशियल फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट होगा, क्या पार्लियामेंट्री फॉर्म ऑफ गवर्नमेंट होगा, किस टाइप का, व्हाट काइंड्स ऑफ इलेक्शन, वेदर इज अ डायरेक्ट इलेक्शन टू बी फॉलोड, वेदर इज इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन टू बी फॉलोड. क्योंकि डेमोक्रेसी सिर्फ नाम से बोलने से नहीं होता है. डेमोक्रेसी के लिए हमें क्या चाहिए? डेमोक्रेसी के लिए हमें चाहिए एक संविधान चाहिए, डेमोक्रेसी के लिए हमें चाहिए इलेक्शन चाहिए, डेमोक्रेसी के लिए चाहिए हमें एक पार्लियामेंट चाहिए. तो डेमोक्रेसी हवा में तो नहीं बन सकता. तो डेमोक्रेसी को फुलफिल करने के लिए काफ़ी सारे चैलेंजेस देखा गया उस समय. उसमें से मैंने कुछ प्रॉब्लम बताया आपको, और ये प्रॉब्लम्स उस समय के लिए बहुत बड़ा चैलेंजिंग टास्क था. एज आई सेड दैट कि at that point of time even the national leaders had different approaches at that point of time regarding the India's nation building. So at that point of time, this is the second important challenges that India had faced, is to establish democracy. Thirdly, to bring welfare among the people. Now third point is that ki at that point of time, as when the British left, at that point of time the Indian economy was very deteriorated at that point of time. The economy was not at all in a good shape, because we know that the exploitative nature of the British colonial rule, they had completely exploited the Indian economy. So when the British left India, so Indian economy was not at all in a very good shape. It was in a very pathetic condition. So now आफ्टर दिस फर्स्ट आपने देश को बनाया, आपने शेप दिया, लोगों को इकट्ठा करने की कोशिश किया, आपने जैसे तैसे इकट्ठा किया, काफ़ी सारे लिंग्विस्टिक ग्रुप है, काफ़ी सारे रिलीजन है, सारे को अपने एक साथ एक जगह पर लाने की कोशिश किया. फिर आपने एक संविधान लिखा, संविधान में लोगों को राइट्स दिया, फिर इलेक्शन कराया. मतलब आपने ये थर्ड चैलेंजेस जो था, अब लोगों को पेट भराना होगा, क्योंकि आपने लोगों को एक साथ लेके आ गए, आपने लोगों को राइट्स, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, इलेक्शन सब दे दिया, आप लोगों को आपको पेट भराना पड़ेगा. सो टू ब्रिंग वेलफेयर अमॉन्ग द पीपल वाज द थर्ड मेजर challenges that India had faced at that point of time. The first important thing, as I said, is that कि as the economy was not in a good shape, so the country had faced a financial crisis at that point of time. And secondly, as a huge number of a bulk of the population were in the below poverty line, who had no minimum necessities of life, जिसे हम रोटी कपड़ा मकान कहते हैं, food, cloth and shelter. So at that point of time, it was the responsibility of the Indian leaders to accommodate the people with the basic necessities of life. But how to accommodate it? Because we had no such kind of a worthy economy at that point of time to meet that accommodation. So this was the another problems that the national leaders faced. Thirdly, apart from this, sections of the society who are basically the marginalized community, the Dalits, the so-called lower caste people, the women, children and the minorities, they are basically called as marginalized section. And to bring welfare among the people, to accommodate basic necessities of life, to provide people with basic amenities, to provide people with food, cloth and shelter, to provide people with certain basic minimum standard of life. It was a major challenge before the Indian leaders, and to bring welfare among the different sections of the society, especially the marginalized section, was the major challenges that India faced at that point of time. Why it was a major challenge? Because at that point of time we didn't have enough strategy, enough planning, enough institutions to disseminate all those particular, to provide or distribute all those particular government subsidies to the people. Even the government subsidies which at that point of time which was framed, how to distribute that subsidies, whom to be given the responsibility to distribute, this was also the, these are the also problems at that point of time. So all those particular problems that Indian leaders had faced at that point of time in order to bring welfare among the people and to make the Indian economy a suitable one to meet that particular demands at that point of time. So basically the third point is to bring the welfare among the people. So to bring the welfare among the people at that point of time, in such a condition where Indian economy was completely devastated, where the GDP was very marginal GDP was there, growth rate was almost a negligible growth rate was there. So all those economic crisis, economic problems, basically it posed a serious challenges at that point of time to meet the demands of the people, to meet the common necessities of the people, to meet the basic standard of life to the people, especially the people of different marginalized section. As I said, that marginalized section basically implies the Dalit, so-called the lower caste people, the women, the children, as well as the minorities. They are basically the marginalized section, and to bring that particular, to provide them with the basic necessities is one of the major challenges that India had faced. So these are the three major challenges that India had faced at that point of time. I hope you understand that particular point. If you have any doubt, you can clarify with me, and in the next class we will continue with the partition of British India, a brief historical background, and what are the problems that in processing the partition, the consequences of partition. These are the topics that we will cover up in the next class. Hope you understand. We will continue the classes as a part of our online classes. Thank you so much.